Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of Motion Picture Meltdown. I'm Stephen the Roast Rosenberg, and joining me today, my faithful co-host, Mark the Shark Hinton. And then back here, we got Phil the Krill Kill Collins. No, Phoebes. We did away with the Phoebes.
Phoebes. Obviously, there are Phoebes. We're fucking reviewing.
There has never ever been another
Squad
Phoebe.
Jr.
I mean, there is an actor from Monster Squad in this fucking movie.
Fine, one Phoebe. That's it.
Bonkers.
Plenty.
So we're going to review for you the original Fright Night movie from 1985, as well as its sequel, Fright Night Part 2 from 1988. And let's go ahead and kick off with Fright Night, directed by Tom Holland, written by Tom Holland. Tom Holland also has directed Child's Play. Yeah, and that's about it. And The Langoliers. God, what a shitty TV movie.
Ew. Oh, God, dude, he fucking directed the We All Scream for Ice Cream episode of... Episode.
I actually own Masters of Horror, which I actually own that. And Thinner. Can't forget about Thinner.
I do love Thinner.
So two Stephen King movies, both one of them very shitty, the other one not that
It's
shitty.
okay.
It's okay.
Decent, I guess. But,
You hit my daughter and make a you white man from town.
All right.
Joe Mantegna. He's in that movie.
Yeah,
He's
he
in
is.
Thinner. Okay. Well, anyway, Chris Sarandon plays...
Sarandon.
Whatever.
Like Susan Sarandon, only this guy's name is Chris. I don't know if they're related. Not that it matters.
Gotcha.
Probably.
He plays Jerry Dandridge, which is the vampire. And then you got Charlie Brewster, played by William Ragsdale, who's not the guy, but he kind of looks like Cameron from Ferris Bueller. Kind of reminds me of Cameron.
Is it Justified, didn't you say?
Yeah, I don't really remember.
He reminds me, at least as far as his attire and his outlook on life, a little bit.
Yeah, Roddy McDowall plays Peter Vincent, and then Amanda Beers.
And his inability to get laid.
No, that's not her name. Her name is Darcy from Married with Children.
Oh, yes.
Darcy.
Sorry.
Darcy.
We don't give people who suck names. We just call
Especially
them.
the
Don't throw
real name.
Mama from a train.
And then Stephen Jeffries plays evil, fucking annoying ass.
Basically, we just told you a whole bunch of fucking people that you don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Chris Sarandon, you would know though because he's the voice of Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
So we would know what he looks like then.
Yeah, it looks exactly like that actually in real life. But I want to point out something I just thought about here. Like this, the first one came out. What was it? 85.
Yep.
That was right around the same time as Gremlins.
Same
Back
year, yep.
back in the 80s, like that mid 80s time period, all of the heroes were the exact same character.
Oh, yeah. This guy's totally Billy.
Gremlins. He's Gremlins. He's the dude from Gremlins.
He's Billy.
Looks
Did
exactly
you say
like
he was
him.
Grimly?
Grimly, yeah, whatever.
He's also the Karate Kid.
Yeah, they all look exactly the same. The only difference with the Karate Kid and all of them is the fact that Ralph Macchio's a little bit tanner and has an accent.
Yeah. And a broken leg now. Like, irreparable broken leg or something like that.
And
From Dancing with the Stars.
Right, and he's like fucking 50 and still looks like he should be in the Karate Kid.
He does. He still looks super young. It's kind of creepy.
But yeah, you're completely right. Fred Savage, same guy. Like, all these people are the exact same character.
Right.
I think
Clones.
we're overgeneralizing.
Oh, no, dude, I totally think the guy from Gremlins looks just like Fred Savage.
Well, we're not talking about what they look like. Of course, they're all going to have similar haircuts in style. It's the 80s.
The curly mullet.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even,
They're
it's
going
not
to
really
have
a mullet,
a
but
business
it's...
class mullet.
Oh no! In the second movie, Charlie Brewster has a fucking mullet.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That is obviously a
But in
mullet.
the first
no
one,
fucking question.
it's like just... well, it's a little curled still. It's almost. It's not really a mullet, it's like
It's
a...
kind of got the new kids on the block swirl mullet thing
Yeah.
that they had.
Swallow it.
Swallow it.
Yeah, we can go with that.
That sounds like something very gross.
So, Mark, why don't you go ahead and tell our listener
Our listener,
about the plot of Fright Night.
By listener, you mean you later when you listen.
Right.
When I edit it.
so Charlie gets home one day, realizes he has a new neighbor. It's Jerry Dandridge.
No.
The vampire.
He realizes it when he's getting ready to get laid for probably the first time.
Yeah.
And just doesn't care. He's like, you're you're half naked on my bed. I don't care. Fuck you. I'm looking at a vampire.
Would you
right
fuck Darcy from fucking Married with Children? No.
Maybe.
now. Probably I would
Is
have.
it Darcy or Marcy?
I don't
think
know.
it's fuck it. Who
Hey,
cares?
Brady.
10
Darcy-
seconds before this, he's like trying to feel her up, and she's like, "No, don't do it." And he's like, "Fine, bitch. Fuck, we've been dating a year, and you won't even touch your boobs." And she's
don't
like,
have boobs.
"You're right."
Let's do
fuck.
it.
And then immediately, like skip straight to the end. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So, vampire moves in next door, Charlie sees said vampire kill someone.
He
through
sees
the
the
window.
coffin first. Like
He sees the coffin and all that shit.
The caretaker bringing the coffin down to the basement.
Right, which in the second one they talk about how Jerry was a 1,000-year-old vampire. Well, he's not a very good vampire if he can't even sneak his fucking coffin into his house without being fucking seen.
Right.
Also, let's point out, what the fuck kind of vampire name is Jerry?
I'm sure it was something ridiculous.
I mean, that's just a regular... Yeah, it was like...
That's just, his name is Jerry. I think that's probably just like part of his cover. Yeah, his name was probably like Gork or something. Like
Gork.
He was a caveman vampire.
Fucking
Cave fire.
Jishmil.
It was 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. So, vampires...
And women start getting murdered in the town.
Right. So Charlie figures out that it's his neighbor.
Headless.
He goes to hunt down the obvious person that you hunt down when you're trying to kill vampires, a guy that played an actor that killed vampires that now hosts a shitty TV show called Fright Night, where he shows old shitty vampire movies. Because obviously that's what you do is go, hey, you're an actor that killed vampires.
So you
how do I
obviously
kill
know all about
vampires? I don't know, I just read the goddamn lines.
And this guy doesn't know shit.
Nothing. Just like a fucking worthless alcoholic in the first movie.
Yeah, but he did have all the tools and shit that he needed. And
yeah,
he
for
did
some
have good
reason
ideas.
he had super legit tools. Even though
like,
they were all from like movie sets.
Yeah,
they
not
were all,
movie
like,
props,
legitimate.
obviously.
And
like,
he used the ideas from movies to figure out that he was a vampire. Like the whole looking in his mirror and noticing the vampire doesn't have a reflection or anything like that. And which he does in the second movie too, but whatever.
Right.
Because we all of us men just carry around pocket mirrors in our fucking, purse.
Yeah. Well, so Charlie sees Jerry making out with some bitch and looks at his hand and it's all vampire-y.
Yeah.
And so then he knows for sure that he's a vampire.
Ooh, those are titties in that part of the movie.
Yeah, there were boobs in both movies.
Both movies.
Philip's only important thing he'll say. The whole with titties at this moment. It's the red pants.
It may be the only important part about the movie, though.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie is
Mark.
it's not terrible. It's just 80s cheesy. It's
I
the
love it.
perfect
I think it's
80s
great.
horror
I liked
movie,
both of
and
them, actually.
It's
Really?
To be completely honest.
I thought the second one was balls.
I would have thought it was way more balls, but I was expecting it to be fucking horrible, and it even at least had a couple of the same actors in it. You know what I mean? Like
The best. Well,
I was
we'll get
fully
to it.
expecting it to be like a whole other cast, not even a resembling plot. Like,
Well, what's his name? Charlie's annoying for an evil. Basically, gets done telling him that the one good defense that he has against the vampire is that he can never ever come in Charlie's house unless he's invited. So, of course, what is
1 second later in
what
the
is
film,
the fucking first thing that happens?
Charlie, could you come down here a minute, please? There's someone I'd like you to meet. Charlie, this is our next door neighbor, Jerry Dandridge.
Hello, Charlie.
Yeah, like
way to go, Mom.
yeah. Fuck you, Mom. No, Charlie. This is Jerry Dandridge. Cue Casio keyboard now.
He's obviously not a vampire. He moved in next door.
he's
Yeah.
clearly not a vampire. Even if he was, I still haven't been laid in years. So that's how it
I
is.
will fuck the shit out of his old dusty vampire steak cock.
Steak. This cock is made of vampire steak.
So of course now
a vampire
the
Tuesday.
vampire has free roam of Charlie's house
Right.
and tries to murder him immediately, which he fails because Charlie sticks him in the hand with a fucking pen. Isn't that what he does?
It's a pencil, and I guess it was supposed to be like a wooden stake.
Oh my
But
god!
and it wasn't because of that. He was gonna kill him at that point, but then his mom was gonna walk in, and he was like, "Fuck, I can't kill him in front of his mom for whatever reason. Why can't I just kill them both? For no reason. Possibly because I'm just the fucking prince from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
The man with 6 fingers.
So Charlie, like I said, goes to get Peter Vincent, who's this movie guy, and Peter says he's going to throw holy water on him, which is complete bullshit because the water is not holy.
I figured out Peter Vincent, though. Like, back in the 60s and 70s, this shitty European film company called Hammer used to make all these, like, really awful vampire and mummy movies and stuff. They're really good in a really bad way, and that's where Christopher Lee got him that's what got him famous, because he
back
played
in 1800s.
Yeah, back in the 70s, he played Dracula in, like, a shit ton of those movies. And the name of the guy that played the vampire Slayer, what Van Helsing, was Peter Cushing, and then they based him off of Peter Cushing and Vincent Price.
Oh, so
because
Peter
he was
Vincent.
being Peter Vincent. So
That's good.
Nice.
Good to know. Let's talk about evil.
Doesn't make the movie any better.
Oh God, why evil is that guy in your fucking history class in the 10th grade that sat back there picking his nose and flicking it at you, and you're sitting there going, he's killing fucking animals in his basement.
You're sure of it? No.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who was that? Who is that in our class? Wasn't it that giant guy that said he jacked off with his dad or whatever?
Whoa!
Hold on. All right, podcast. We're podcast, not rodcast. Right?
No, we did that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, man.
Dude!
He had a guinea hog and he loved cheese.
Oh, dude, don't Kenny.
I can't remember his fucking name.
His name was Kenny.
Yeah.
Watch him be our one listener.
Well, I mean, he was upfront about all these facts. It's not like it's a secret.
That motherfucker pulled out a 10-inch knife on me one time. He was like, "Hey, check out my blade." I was like, "Dude, you probably shouldn't pull that out."
You probably shouldn't bring a
School?
fucking Rambo
Yeah,
back
it
to
was
school.
good, and it was like a Rambo.
Oh, dude.
He's like, I use this to cut open and eat my guinea hogs.
If it wasn't, he did not use it to he killed other animals that killed his guinea hogs. He was pissed at because he was a fan of guinea hogs.
What the fuck?
And I kept always
Kenny
trying to
Power?
figure.
I don't
No,
know.
that's from Eastbound and Down.
Kenneth Clark.
Clark. It was Clark.
Kenny Clark. Yeah.
Ooh. Let's
God
go back to the
damn.
movie. It's getting real weird, and I'm gonna have to lock my doors.
Well, anyway, fucking Evil Ed is fucking Kenny Clark, except for just skinny, not a monster.
Yeah. And he does a bunch of bullshit, like, because he thinks it's funny.
He's definitely a
Charlie
fucking
thinks-
sociopath. Like, he's fucking insane.
He's
does
gonna kill
nasty
somebody for
shit.
sure at some
Yeah.
point.
Well, and then
Right.
he's making fun of, like, I'm sorry, but that's how friendship works. If Mark or Philip comes up and is like, dude, my neighbor is fucked up, I need help, I'm not going to sit there and laugh at him and then taunt him, like when he's walking down the alley and he's like, ah!
Well, that's the thing, like, they're not even, like, as far as I can tell, they're not even friends. He just knows that this weird guy knows about vampires.
But he keeps coming to his house and stuff.
He just went to his house that one time.
Yeah, well, but
It
no,
was
but
an
to point that
emergency.
out, like, he asked him because Ed watched a whole bunch of shitty vampire movies and stuff, so he's like, I need some help. They weren't really friends, but at the same time, you gotta think, this guy has absolutely zero social skills.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sociopathic as fuck. He really is that kid. If he didn't, in this movie, get turned into a vampire, try to kill people, and then die, he would have killed people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he was gonna kill people eventually.
Right,
It was
eventually.
just a matter of if he was a vampire first and then decided to do it.
But
Yeah.
the thing that killed me, though, was his fucking laugh. Like when he
His
attacked
pencil
Peter
Vincent.
Vincent.
Not me.
Yeah!
It's like before everything he says, he ran a marathon.
Yeah.
Before every
He's
word.
so
Because he's
exhausted.
got a fucking boner.
Yeah.
Because he's talking to another human being, and it makes him want to murder, which gives him stiff dick.
So I thought
Oh,
this
dude.
was not a rodcast. We're all talking about
Dude, the special effects, though, whenever Peter Vincent burns that fucking cross into his head, that was brutal looking.
Dude, I fucking love the special effects in these movies.
Me
Both
too.
of these fucking movies.
Well, the second one,
they get a little shittier, but there are still some good special
yeah,
effects.
I
in there.
agree. But like I said, in this one, the special effects when his right hand man gets melted was cool, and the cross getting burned into Evil's forehead, and he's like, "Oh, what did you do to me?"
Was it in... Which one was it? It was in the first or the second one where the body melted and it looked like ballistic shell.
Oh, that
Looks
was the
like-
second
That was
one.
the second
That
one.
was the second one?
Yeah.
That was a
Because
cool
it
effect.
was ballistic.
It was
shell.
literally ballistic shell, I'm pretty sure. But anyways.
Yeah, and then, but like Philip was telling me earlier, Evil is just the worst actor ever.
Mrs. Brewster. Thank God the phone wires have been cut. I know. I did it.
It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
just
I don't know.
just molestro breathing.
but it's like, first of all, the Raggedy Ann hair is so visible at that part when he pulls over the
And he's
street.
moving! He's fucking moving!
It's so obviously not the mom. It's like, oh, I wonder if there's somebody under there.
Wearing
I wonder-
Raggedy Ann hair.
Even if it is his mom, why the hell would she have the Raggedy Ann hair on?
Oh, and then like the Casio keyboard starts, and then as if Peter Vincent didn't already now know that it was Evil that cut the phone line.
Right. I know! I did it! It's like he did it for fucking attention or something. Like, he wasn't trying to, like, prevent him from calling someone. He was just bored while he was
It's like
waiting
that
for
guy that
Vincent to
admits
get
to
there.
farting and everybody else in the room is like...
Already knows that he did it.
Oh my god, did you fart? No. Yeah, I fucking farted.
What about, and then all logic goes out the window because then Evil turns into a fucking wolf. And then there's a really crazy, awesome wolf transformation scene, which...
Well, in some of the old vampire
No, it was
stuff
a
they
wolf
talked about...
untransformation scene.
That's
It
what
was
I mean.
after
That's what I
he
mean.
got stabbed or whatever.
Well,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
kept trying to
transforming-
figure out...
in Dracula, they talked about how vampires could turn into whatever creatures of the night that they wanted.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what this was based on. I think this is trying to be based on, like, Dracula and, like,
But it was like Shracula.
So they could turn into a hamster?
No, rats, though.
creatures of the night.
Hamster's a creature, it's nocturnal. It's a creature.
But is it a creature of the night?
Yes.
Would anyone in the world ever
Hamsters
consider
are-
a fucking hamster a creature of the night?
They are mean little
Like, you know,
fucks, but you know
Tasmanian
what?
devils,
Here's the
hamsters.
problem, though. If vampires turned into hamsters, they're already extinct because every one of them would have got sucked up into the vacuum cleaner.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing
Or eaten
ferocious
by
about
my
fucking...
parents' old dog.
Yeah.
Or just dying in a cage and then spinning around in your fucking wheel for fucking 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Ew.
Yeah, that was his name.
Yeah, I'm evil.
You're literally evil from this fucking movie. You're evil Ed.
Look at me.
Oh, it's spinning around its hamster wheel.
I love how fucking pissed he gets when people call him evil, even though he's obviously fucking evil.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, they're not calling you that because they think it's funny. They call you that because they think you're going to rape them with a pickaxe.
And it's, you know, and they're right.
Yeah,
for thinking that.
He's gonna do it.
Well, and then, so, Evil gets staked through the heart and untransforms into a
Which is
human.
super epic.
And it's pretty cool looking. And then they do the fight with Jerry, and there's all sorts of cool special effects.
To be honest, though,
At this point, the makeup effects get a little ridiculous, though. Like his vampire makeup effects, they go a little overboard. It seems like the angrier a vampire gets, the more
He
like
looks like that dude from the movie with Cher.
oh god,
You know what I'm talking about?
Mask
Mask, yeah. You know what
with
I'm
the
talking about?
giant elephant foot head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, I don't.
Look it up. There's a movie with Cher.
Just
And-
look that up.
That's the movie. Hey, do you know any movies with Cher, IMDb?
Pretty much, and the fucking her son or something.
Yeah, it's
or no,
her son.
or no, it was her boyfriend.
No, it's her son. With giant head.
And he's got this huge, ugly, fucking nasty head, and that's what Jerry looked like after he.
But not only does he have the giant nasty head, he's also like a ginger kid. So doubly fucked. Not only do you have mutated head, you also have, well, the worst genes ever. You know?
He's not turning any more ferocious. He's just being uglier.
Yeah, just oh god, you have evolved the wrong way.
You evolved.
Well,
And that's what happens to Jerry Dandridge. What about the bullshit in this where they stake the fuck out of Jerry and then he just pops it out and goes, fuck you, and keeps fighting him.
yeah, it took the sunlight to kill him, and then he was like, you can't kill me with a cross either because you don't believe. Yes, I do. Oh man, he believes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
But
he
what about-
automatically doesn't believe and he's fine. But then Peter Vincent gets this fucking glossy look in his eye, like maybe I do believe,
And,
motherfucker.
and then he pushes the cross
Maybe
out
I do.
with more force.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the director? All right, now, Peter, you believe in God now. Forcefully fuck his face with the cross. Put it out there. Put it in his mouth.
But is that even like what they're? I couldn't fucking figure out what they were referencing as far as what they're supposed to be believing in. Like, do you believe in vampires, or do you believe that this cross is going to hurt me, or do you believe in God
Christianity.
or Christianity?
Yeah.
So, in a matter of minutes, he converted to Christianity.
Seconds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, it was like a scene later. I think he goes next door to see
No,
Ed and then comes back.
there's a part.
But he had
where
already,
he's-
melted the fucking hole into Evil's head.
Well, right, but he said
he
it
was
wasn't
like
strong
a shittier
enough.
vampire.
He was a shittier vampire, and
Yeah.
it was at the part
Shampire.
where he's standing in front of the window, and he's like, "It doesn't work if you don't believe, remember?" And
I
then
think it was though from like. 'cause
Why would you tell people that?
Vincent runs next door to like phone for help or some shit, and that's whenever he encounters Evil or whatever with the Raggedy Ann, right? Raggedy Ann,
right, but he burns the cross in his
rig.
head way earlier. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm talking about when he sees Jerry in the attic, and he goes, "You can't hurt me with the cross, remember?" And then Peter just like lets out a sigh of
superhero stance.
Yeah, and then holds across
He's
even
like,
more,
"Oh,
and he's like,
yeah?"
well, maybe I do fucking believe. And then, like, all of a sudden, Jerry just gets the most scared. Just look on his face.
And he's like walking backwards. Going, oh,
that whenever they get presented with the cross,
Yeah.
they just cover their eyes. Go. It becomes so fucking. It's so
Bela
lame.
Lugosi.
It's so
That's
lame,
what
but
it
it's
is.
so fucking good.
Oh, I
though.
love it.
And then, so they kill Jerry, save the girlfriend, which goes to fucking I have no idea where, because she just disappears for the second movie,
Well, he was really only staying with her until she let him bang her.
pretty much. And then he gets a way hotter girlfriend in the second movie,
Much hotter.
and is in denial about everything.
Jerry Dandridge was a serial murderer, a cult worshiper, kidnapper. He abducted my girlfriend Amy and my friend Ed Thompson, and this triggered a defense mechanism in my brain which caused me to imagine he was a vampire.
And was Jerry Dandridge a vampire?
No, there's no such thing.
Null and void, entire first movie.
So what you're saying is, when you saw him with your own eyes transform into multiple animals, toss you across a fucking room, all these things never
Drink
happen.
the blood from multiple women.
Yeah. And your girlfriend turns into a vampire.
No.
Turn your fucking girlfriend into a vampire who will also try to eat you.
Best part of this whole movie. Pumbaa is Charlie's psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And who ends up being a vampire and has a really lame death.
Which
It's
is
dumb.
yeah. It's such a fucking stupid plot twist. It's supposed to be like, oh my gosh, of course, that's why he was trying to convince him
This
that
whole
vampires
time!
aren't real.
Oh!
And it's like, no, it's just fucking stupid.
And he is the shittiest vampire ever. Me and Margaret,
I know.
me
Yeah,
and
but
Margaret
how
watching
shitty
it. Like,
would a fat vampire be, though? Like, worse.
Well, he'd still have super speed.
Can you imagine if he turned into, like, a bat or something, though?
Would he be super fat, do you think?
Can you imagine it would be like a giant fat bat that would be like
That
as
can't
big
even
around
really
as a basketball with wings the size of your finger? It would just look ridiculous.
I feel like if you can transform into other things, you should be able to, especially things that are already smaller than you should be able to dictate if
Yeah,
you're
if you're
going to
fat,
be a
yeah.
fat bat. or
Can I
not.
just not be fat? No, it doesn't work like that. Well, this immortality vampire thing is
and that whole
bullshit.
thing, it doesn't really make
fair.
sense.
Hakuna Matata.
It doesn't really make
Exactly.
sense because you're dead when you're a vampire.
Right.
So
You should
wouldn't-
be in perfect shape or a skeleton.
yeah, you wouldn't. Your body wouldn't
Don't
metabolize
eat
anything
anymore.
Yeah, it's bullshit. That whole thing about vampires just annoys the shit. Like with Twilight and the fact that.
Now we're getting into Twilight.
No, I'm just saying you got vampires that can shoot loads and have vampire babies, and then you have vampires in movies that are fucking fat and like diseased and sick and shit like that. It's like, no, vampires are dead. There's nothing there.
What about the fact that vampires can actually have sex?
Yeah,
They're
how
dead. No blood flow.
Right.
Can't pop a boner. There's been so many dick mentions in this fucking podcast.
Well, he had to because there wasn't any rape.
Yeah, that's true. Which is very surprising for these type
It
of
is
movies
shocking,
too.
especially for the 80s. It seemed like every movie in the 80s had at least a little bit of rape.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know.
My favorite character in the second movie is, even though it's kind of cheesy, it's the dude that plays the wolf vampire that played the Wolfman in the Monster Squad. I keep wanting to say
What about
Goonies.
Buffalo
You mean the
Bill?
guy with the skullet?
No, Buffalo Bob. Yeah, the skull.
What about Buffalo Bob?
Buffalo Bob. Yeah, because he plays the ghoul in that. It's the Buffalo Bob from Joe Dirt.
Yeah, and eating moths all the time.
Yeah. It rubs the lotion on its
Just
skin.
like the only thing
dang.
he did in the entire movie was eat moths.
Yeah, and then just said shitty things to the wolf vampire dude. You're supposed to bite her on the neck.
But whenever he got killed, that was really cool because he like exploded with various creatures.
What about?
Oh yeah, when he like got ripped open and
Yeah.
all the
bugs
bugs
came
came out of him.
Fucking Prince's fingernails cut through that dude's stomach, and then you just
Prince's fingernail. I don't know. It was kind of like a cross between Bride of Frankenstein and Wesley Snipes. That's what that dude. That was a dude. I couldn't tell. But
It was
a dude.
ugly man Pam
for
Grier.
half the movie,
Yeah.
I thought it was a girl.
I thought it was Pam Grier's
It was.
ugly,
It was. The
ugly
character
twin.
was a chick
But it was
named
a-
Belle.
but it was
a
played
guy.
by a dude?
By
Yeah.
a dude. Who is, by the way, since Steven hasn't made fun of any dead people yet in this episode, dead as shit.
Glad he's dead.
Speaking
It.
of dead people,
He.
I do want to go back
He. I
1
don't
minute
know.
to the first one and talk about how awesome the effects were in the club scene. Whenever Jerry went crazy
Oh, yeah.
and killed those 2 fucking security guards. And then he's like, Roscoe! Jamal! Come fight me! Or whatever. Let's get this sucker! And they run down there and just immediately get their asses whipped by this vampire. And they get thrown like 100 feet, too.
Well, what pisses me off is that like he's perfectly willing to kill some people in like a second, and other people it's
In
like
public.
he's got to like make it a big fucking to do. He's got to like make it a big fucking epic theatrical bullshit to like kill some fucking next door neighbor. Like he could just easily slash his throat when they're in the fucking club.
And that's it.
And that'll be the end. Movie's over. You win, vampire. You don't get killed at the end.
For the 1,000th time, this is why us three don't write movies.
Right, because there'd be 7 seconds long.
There would be a
There's a
fucking we would
vampire
build
next
in a
door.
reason why he doesn't just fucking immediately kill him. Because there is no fucking reason. He just is a fucking pussy, I guess.
Yep. He is a pussy.
Unless he's fighting fucking security guards.
I don't know, it's kind of like that Joker complex. He doesn't kill Batman because it's fun to fight him, you know? A 1,000-year-old vampire, you're probably a little bored.
So you'd rather fight children than security guards?
The best thing about the second movie, in my opinion, was that part where the dude's fucking neck pustule exploded.
Oh yeah, where
when you put all the water on him with the like fucking garden.
Oh yeah,
it was holy water.
Yeah, holy water in the fucking termite sprayer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it just hoses.
Which
his
is
face.
awesome.
It was some kind of pest
Super cool.
elimination thing, and then
Yeah,
he
but
sprayed
can you
him on his
imagine
face.
like a vampire's running at you? You got to pump it up first. Fuck, he's running at you.
I mean, it's just straight Monster Squad with the super soakers.
Yeah.
The
Right,
holy
but
water.
super soakers are way cooler.
And it was like flamethrower or whatever. But
God, that would not work.
no.
Just dead.
But yeah, fucking, and that dude's neck like blows up
It
like
just pops out.
Yeah, and then just gut comes all
Yeah.
out of it.
It's not
so
even.
awesome.
Both me and Mark looked at each other at that part and we're like, ew.
That was actually the only real good effect in this movie. The rest of them just terrible.
That and the fingernails of the wolf man vampire whenever he climbed the window and she
Smashes
sets
his
the
hands
window
on
on
They're
his
basically like Lee press on nails. They just all snap off. It's like he's a fucking whatever, man.
As soon as that happened and he fell down and he's in the bushes, and Steven goes, "Was that supposed to be funny?"
Yeah, like, I didn't know that was like a comedy part.
It was because he immediately goes. The fucking lurch guy just goes, "You're supposed to bite her neck." He just keeps fucking
But no,
saying
but
that.
the
Meanwhile, he
first
doesn't
first
eat
part
anyway.
when his fingernails get
moths.
smashed and his fingers get crushed, when he goes, "Ah, shit," that I thought was funny because it's just like this wolf man going, "Shit."
Right.
He's just scaling the flat brick wall or whatever. Give me
And he has no trouble hanging on until his fucking claws get smashed in the window. And
Yeah,
it's like,
I
oh
mean,
no!
That's how you get rid of vampire wolfmans is breaking their nails.
Yep, that's how you
Not
dance.
wolfmans.
So, I don't know about
Oof.
you guys, but I've seen a fuckload of vampire movies, and never once have I seen them be allergic to roses.
They
Apparently,
want roses. It's supposed to be like nightshade, dude.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, dude. I was like, what the fuck? And then Mark said something about Nightshade, and I was like, that's retarded.
that's just a fucking move that, Gengar uses. In fucking
Pokemon. Yeah. Let's talk about the director of Fright Night 2 directing Halloween 3.
Oh yeah, the worst Halloween.
Oh, which one was it? The
That's-
worst one? Oh, yes.
He also directed Philip's favorite movie, It.
My favorite movie,
Tim
obviously.
Curry.
By favorite, I mean most hated and terrified of.
And
Which
we
we
can't
will
forget the
never podcast.
masterpiece of vampires, Los Muertos.
Starring John Bon Jovi and Eddie Winslow
Are you
from
serious?
Family Matters. Yes.
Oh my god.
Click on it.
Fuck.
Click on it.
Oh my fucking
Fucking Eddie
god.
Winslow's in this movie?
John Bon Jovi.
This is awful.
Keep going. Keep going.
Why are we not
Look,
podcasting
look,
this
look.
instead?
Darius McCrary. Eddie Winslow. You know why we're not podcasting that movie? Because I'm never watching it again.
Vampire Los Muertos is what it's called.
Yeah, The Dead.
Vampires. The Dead.
Well, yeah.
And have you seen the first? It's the sequel to John Carpenter's Vampires.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
And I love that movie. Fuck you.
No, I mean, no. I'm just saying, no.
Now we have to podcast it because Steven's saying no to it.
So we're gonna do both of them? Vampires Los Muertos?
Choke on your razzleberry, bitch.
And then you've got like, it just reminds me of this really shitty movie I have called Dia de los Muertos.
Why do you just stop and say it like that? Like shrooms.
Because there's only one way to say that, and that's
De los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
God.
That's the only way you can possibly say that. Just
You
like
only-
if
you
you're
can only
saying
say it like Danny
vampires, Los Muertos.
If it's Spanish, you have to say it like Danny Trejo.
Yeah, exactly.
So Fright Night Part 2, we haven't even talked about, we've just talked about shitty. So Fright Night Part 2 is
Same movie.
Jerry Dandridge's sister comes back for vengeance
Right.
and tries to turn Charlie Brewster into a vampire.
But
by,
what's the
by
point?
infecting the cut on his neck that he got while shaving.
Right, like, so she's going to infect him, but only super slowly. But why?
Because it's retardation.
Because vampires are fucking stupid.
Because they're fucking so cryptic. They have to do everything for their own made-up fucking bullshit
What
reasons.
about the fact that she's like an impressionistic dancer for a living? Like, that's her career. Wow, so you're like a 1,000-year-old vampire.
That pretends to be a vampire.
That pretends to be a vampire, or that pretends to be a human pretending to be a vampire on TV while you dance about being a vampire / human / actually a real vampire.
I'm glad you summed that up for me.
Movie over, the end, podcast over. See you next week.
Ooh, I kind of wish.
Yeah,
We have to talk about this bag of shit turd.
This one is pretty
The whole
bad.
scene, the whole fucking scene when they're insane, when they're in the insane,
It's the red pants.
the insane asylum. The whole fucking scene pointless, except for fucking Andrew
Andrew WK. The dude in the fucking scene
not really in
looks
it, by the way.
exactly like Andrew WK.
He does, and
Only
he
he's not
kind of acts
partying.
like him too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he's not partying at all.
I feel like that's why he's in there though. For
There's some
partying.
partying.
He
so
partied too hard, and now he's in the insane asylum.
I can't get over just the 80s music. Just
I love it, dude.
so much Casio.
Casio keyboard hooked up to an IBM computer while somebody's playing Oregon Trail.
It's like fucking, ever since we did the Robocalypse podcast, where we did Chopping Mall,
oh god!
and he had that Casio keyboard
Dead
through the
Meat
entire
I
movie.
fucking love that music though. Fucking any movie with that in, well, fucking Ghosts of Mars had that music and it was fucking
Dude,
butt rape.
I had
awful.
this movie called Bone Sickness.
Yeah, I know about this movie.
And the subtones on this Casio shitty background music are so fucking low that you can't even tell that it's like it's
Is it like a cheats fart?
yeah, it's like
A
I
chart.
can't even. Me and Joel were watching this movie, and we were just like, "What the fuck is this sound?" Like, it's not even a note. It's like
it's almost inaudible to humans.
almost. It was almost like a slow rumble of the house, and I was like, "Is that a note?" And they did it throughout the entire fucking movie.
That's right. I remember you telling me there was just a continuous note. It literally didn't stop.
It didn't.
Like somebody fell asleep.
So
while
they
were
just
trying to play
made the
this
world's
movie.
most annoying movie.
Yeah, yeah,
and shitty too.
yeah. And it was the worst. But that's nor here there or there. I'm just saying, like, I can't do the Casio keyboard. I can't.
Does it just make you want to go to
Nightcore.
Goodwill's and buy all of them and then just smash the shit
yeah,
out of them?
and I've talked about
Don't
that.
do
I
that.
could very well go find a Casio keyboard, and 90% of these movies write a better fucking musical, whatever the fuck. I swear to God, it's just some blind motherfucker.
Why is it be blind?
Because he just can't see.
Yeah, but then just Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can play
because
the
he
fuck out of
can't
this
see.
fucking piano.
Because even most of the greatest piano players ever were blind. You fucking idiot.
All I'm saying
And
is,
you can't say deaf because Beethoven.
all right. Well,
So we'll just say that
he's a
He was a
retard.
very
Yes,
stupid
they were-
man.
not
He's
even
a
a
re-
retard, a window licking retard.
Yeah, who holds the Casio keyboard
That's some
behind
kind
his
of
head
retard.
and just headbutts.
And
and
it has stickers on the keys.
And that's the fucking keyboard music behind this.
But not all keyboard Casio music from the 80s is shitty, though.
Yes, it is.
You guys hate the music from John Carpenter's thing? Really?
No, or Dawn of the Dead, or Day of the
Those
Dead.
music...
Still shitty.
Those music are good!
Red pants.
Fuck you!
It's like the fourth time I've said it.
Whatever.
All I'm saying is that
Philip just left.
Fright Night 1.
Podcast over, you guys are fucking dicks. You've been fucking giving me shit about these pants since I walked in. And there's nothing wrong with my pants!
At least you're not like Brandy's minty pants.
I'll wear those
Minty
minty
pants? What the fuck are minty pants?
The pants I wouldn't wear are the fucking
What do they look
Minty
like? A York
pants.
peppermint patty?
Oh,
Essentially,
God.
yeah.
Are they green?
They're minty.
So is it like the color? Is it the
Have you
color
ever
of
had
Aquafresh?
have you ever had a Shamrock Shake? That's the color.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yes, the color of Aquafresh. The color of your spit after you brush your teeth with Aquafresh.
Is it bubbly?
To wind things down, watch Fright Night because it's awesome.
Watch Fright Night 2 because you'll appreciate how much better Fright Night is after watching.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. Because it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but goddamn, it's not good either.
It's mostly cheesy 80s.
But I do want to give them credit for at least having the same actors and a continuation of the plot from the first one. God, there are so many movies where they're just like, oh, there's a movie? Oh, we'll just make another movie.
And just
we
call
don't
it
know
this.
anything about it. We'll just call it the sequel.
Yeah.
Troll 2.
Precisely my
God
point.
damn it.
Troll. motherfucking 2.
All right.
I mean, the director of Troll 2 doesn't even know that he actually made a sequel. He's unaware of it.
He's like,
they
well,
just
what's
wrote
this
the
movie
title
going to be
on it.
called? We're probably going to call it like Troll or
He thought
something.
they were going to call it Goblin.
Yeah.
He really did.
No,
He
they're
had
gonna call it
clue.
Goblin Cop.
I watched the documentary on it, and dude was like,
He literally thought they were
he
going to
had-
call it Goblin.
He had no
that's what it was
clue.
He
supposed
had
to be.
no
He was
idea they
at
were
a-
making a sequel.
He was at a convention. No, because
I
they
thought you
didn't.
were kidding.
They didn't. They made the movie, and then the people that did the first Troll movie bought the rights for the set for it because no one would buy it. They filmed the movie, and nobody wanted to put it out. And they're like, "So, did you know that your movie had trolls in it?" And like, he's really Italian, and they didn't really know what the fuck he was saying. He's like, "What? What are trolls?"
Yeah.
He had no clue.
That's why the town is Nilbog. Goblin backwards. I mean, it's
about goblins.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with Troll.
no, they don't
at
mention,
all.
they don't mention the word.
Well, I know
troll
that they're
ever.
not even similar because I've seen them both.
Yeah, but
And I love the movie Troll.
the first one's I like the first one. But with that being said, let's go ahead and finish this up.
No, we're going to keep talking about nothing.
I'm Steven the Rose Rosenberg. We got Mark Sharkitten
Later.
and Phil the Kill Collins,
Brill.
and we'll see you next time.
Show you the world in a different light. Keep your heart to yourself. Give your soul to the night. Come to me when you're lonely. Come to me when you need something new. Come to me when the rest